Employment rate edging back up to 32.9% in the first 3 months of the year, from 31.9% in the last quarter of 2024. Newzroom Africa's Ntokozo Khumao joins us now for more. Ntokozo, good afternoon once again. Youth unemployment still a major concern. I mean, that age group 15 to 24 has a 60% unemployment rate. But how are small businesses trying to close the gap?
Hi, Michelle. Well, it is lunchtime, so I headed out to Midrand, and I am at the Bread Box here, which is a bakery and a food station, as you see behind us here. People coming in to just have fun when it comes to food. But the story of how the business idea came to life is the interesting one, and I do have the founder here, Ntokozo. Thank you so much for talking to us. Now, I heard a little bit about the story. You didn't quite like baking and bakery when you were younger, but how did the business idea come to life when it comes to tackling that issue of unemployment?
Yeah, the big business idea actually, it was actually weird on how it came. I was just driving from work, and one day, you know, like in the streets, I see women carrying their kids with the placards, and, you know, and an aha moment came to say, I've got a skill that I hate, that my grandmother taught. I felt like we were abused when we grew up because we had to wake up at 4, bake and give away that bread. So I vowed that I'll never touch flour again into my life. And then as when I grow up and I pass these women coming back from work and, you know, embracing the weather, you know, carrying the kids, the babies on their back in the sun, whether it's raining, it's cold. And something said, you've got the skill, don't be selfish about it. And every time I passed those women, I was not settled. Up until one day, then I approached them and I said, if somebody had to give you a skill, and so that you don't have to beg, because a skill is something that nobody can take away from you. But money is easy to give and take away. But a skill, it's something that you can have forever. And some of them agreed, some of them did not believe. And then eventually, after convincing some of them, and then we eventually started in my kitchen. And yeah.
And you started, I think, 2017, if I'm not wrong.
We started 2016. Yeah, informally 2016. The business was registered in 2017. Okay. So we started in 2016 with the women, just teaching them how to bake after work, during the weekends. So we sacrificed everything else to make sure that these women at least have something to take back home.
And the sacrifice that you've made, Lekgonolo, is still evident here. I see a lot of young people as well in the front that you still continue to employ. What's your approach to job creation as an SME facing their own set of challenges?
You know, I think I believe in a skilled workforce. And then I believe that we need to give meaningful skills, and in terms of trying to find out what exactly is it that our people need. And I believe that if we do that, then we will be able to approach unemployment meaningfully with the skilled workforce, and not just, and as an SME, sometimes it's very difficult when you are going through your struggles, and then you have to take these youngsters, you have to train them, you have to do that. But our approach is that if we don't give them a chance, who will? Because as you understand, when you look for a job, you have to have some experience. They come straight from school, or they come from matric. They don't have anything. They don't know anything about job, a workplace. And then we're trying to bridge that gap in terms of workplace skills.
And we certainly have heard economic professors such as Miriam Altman really point out that for young people, the biggest challenge is them getting their foot in their door. And for years, we've heard, Hloni, that small businesses and in the informal market is where those jobs can really be created. But help our viewers understand some of the challenges that SMMEs face to be able to scale their operations and create more jobs.
I think the biggest challenge is access to market and access to funding, because it's really not easy. And for example, you can apply for funding and then you get a response after 12 months. And majority of entrepreneurs, they don't fail because they don't know what they're doing. They fail because they don't have cash flow. And then the biggest thing also is that entrepreneurs will get there, they will self-fund, do everything else. You get business, but then you're faced with non-payment. And that's one of the biggest killers of small businesses and non-support of these businesses. And I think for me, this is just my opinion, my point of view is that majority of it, we scream, support local, do that. And majority of it will clap, like people like myself, you'll clap for you to say she did well, she did stuff, but then pay entrepreneurs so that they can have cash flows. Because when it comes to funding, it's a different topic that we can talk about. And I think it's a different monster that we need to address, and how it's done, how should it be done, whether it's done effectively or not. And access to market also, it's the biggest thing in terms of how the problems that entrepreneurs are facing. So it's really a challenge, but we're trying.
Now, you and I fall under the youth Ndala. We have the responsibility, I suppose, as you said, to help upskill the younger generation. A lot of them, from the data that we're getting even discouraged to look for work. As a business owner looking to give them that leg up, what piece of advice would you give young people either looking to start a business that they can create jobs themselves, or looking to maybe work for a business such as yours when it comes to just the environment that we're currently in?
I think a lot of young people now, so I'm just going to answer it backwards, right? I think a lot of young people right now are discouraged and for good reasons. They're not jobs. I mean, you're looking for a job, you are supposed to have 20-year experience and I think it's just, I mean, the environment. But for me, I think they should be intentional about, looking for those jobs, doing what they love. Start believing and start, leaving those jobs. I really don't know. Like, I don't have a solid advice right now that I can say, that they do. But I think what I can say is that you want to do something, go for it. Knock until your finger bleeds, and up until they say, now Ntokozo is coming, and then they give it. You believe in yourself, upskill yourself. I mean, we've got a lot of free online courses and stuff like that young people, while you're still looking for a job, you can, instead of maybe spending a lot of time onto social media, just find something 2 hours in a day to try and upskill yourself and find something to do, and eventually you will get it right. I really don't have because at the moment myself I'm discouraged, so I cannot probably give advice that and encourage others. And I think when we spoke of as to like the deeper challenges that we're currently facing as a business and also as entrepreneurs.
Well, thank you so much for that. Michelle, as you hear the Breadbox founder saying, she herself faces times of discouragement, but it is about just keeping on going, finding ways to try and upskill yourself. As you heard, their small businesses really, pulling themselves by the bootstraps, Michelle, to try and get those businesses still surviving year in, year out. Litwaba here, at least her business is over that 5-year mark where most small businesses do fail. But keeping that momentum is tough, Michelle, in an environment where it's tough to get payments on time, which makes it difficult for you to keep the staff that you might have. And that is sort of the tone that I've been getting from small businesses that I've been speaking to over the past 18 months or so, just some of the challenges that they face, not only within the industry, but to keep their operations going in the midst of rising costs so that they can create those employment opportunities for young people. A lot of them just needing that foot in the door, Michelle, to get some sort of experience before at least spreading their wings to look for other work opportunities. So those challenges, that is faced in the labor markets, you can see then how that full picture plays out as the businesses struggle to keep profits in their businesses. Then the potential workforce also getting discouraged as they struggle to then create those jobs. Michelle.
Knock until your fingers bleed, says your guest. Thanks very much for that. Ntokozo Khumao is live to us in Midrand.